Hey, brothers and sisters, it's good to be with you this Tuesday, May 19th, and this is the staff devotional. It's funny that if you look back through the staff devotionals, my hair keeps getting longer and longer, and Lord willing, one of these days that will change. But thankful to be with y'all. I'm preaching this Sunday, May 24th. So just wanted to give y'all, those of you who are like me and maybe a slow processor, may have a hard time processing things and need to chew on it a long time to really get the good stuff out of something. I want to give you an opportunity to do that. And so what I'm going to do is kind of give you a little bit of a teaser of the sermon now so that you can be digesting and processing a little bit before Sunday. So, there's a story in John 4, and it's a familiar story, but I want to encourage you to approach it this week as if you've never heard it before, and put yourself in this situation. Put yourself in the story. You're onlooker. Seeing what's going on. Jesus in John 4 has he and his disciples have come to the edge of the city of Samaria. Jews and Samaritans didn't get along for a lot of reasons, and so the disciples actually have gone into town to get some food. And Jesus is sitting by a well, and this well was none other than Jacob's well. Jacob had lived over 1,000 years before Jesus was here, so this is an old well, and it's still running, still water down there, and people are still coming there. So Jesus is sitting there, and you've got to think he knows that somebody's going to come. And sure enough, a woman comes by. She's by herself, as far as we can tell. It's in the middle of the day at noon, which is a rare time. Most of the women wouldn't come during that time of the day because you would get hot and sweaty, and there's no reason to do that. So you can tell she's got something to hide, maybe, perhaps. And she and Jesus start to have this conversation about water, and he says, give me a drink. She says, well, you don't have anything to draw with. Why are you asking me? I'm a woman and you're a Jew. And basically Jesus tells her that, hey, I've got living water to give you, and if you drink of this water that I have, then you'll never be thirsty again. And the woman is, she's a little bit curious, but she doesn't quite know what's going on. And she basically, says, well, give me some of that. And Jesus says, well, go call your husband and then come back. And the woman said, oh, I have no husband. And Jesus, says, well, you're right. You don't have a husband. You've had 5 husbands before this, and the man you're with now is not your husband. And the woman is obviously, a little shocked by Jesus' knowledge of her intimate details of her life. And she says, you must be a prophet. And the conversation goes on, and it ends with this kind of cliffhanger moment. And in verse 25, the woman said to him, I know that Messiah is coming, he who is called Christ. When he comes, he will tell us all things. And Jesus said to her, I who speak to you am he. So that's a little bit of a cliffhanger that I'm going to leave you guys on, because the sermon is going to pick up on the next verse, in verse 27, and go through verse 42. And what we're going to see is, what effect does Jesus have on this woman? Okay, Jesus and this woman, they have an encounter here, and what effect does that have on the woman's life? We can tell that she's had a lot of brokenness in her past, had a lot of hardship. We don't know all the details, but we can definitely see that there's been a lot of pain, maybe some shame and deep wounds in her life. Maybe you have some of those. I know I do. And so what I'd encourage you to do, here's your homework before Sunday, is to read John 4, verses 27 through 42. And that's what the sermon is going to be on. and ask yourself these questions as you read. Maybe as a family, or maybe you and your cat, or just wherever you are and whoever you are. Ask yourself these questions: what happens that I did not see coming? Okay, in verses 27 through 42, what happens that I didn't expect? What is the woman's reaction to her encounter with Jesus? In other words, what effect does Jesus have on her? And then lastly, what happens to the inhabitants of this Samaritan town through the woman's words and testimony? So I think that what we'll find out is there's some unexpected things that are going to happen, and some unlikely evangelism taking place here. So I look forward to Sunday. Love you guys, and I'll see you then.